After the announcement of the proclamation of Indonesian independence, the Allies did not establish and began to come to Indonesia to establish the sovereignty of the Dutch East Indies. They shoot, tortured, and kidnapped Indonesians. The Dutch flag with red, white, blue colors was also flown on Indonesian soil without permission, which is an insult to the official raising of the red and white flag in Indonesia. This drama raises the history of the struggle of the Indonesian people, which has been modified and shortened to remind us of the work of Indonesian people. This drama has to document the struggle of the independence of the Indonesian nation.
Indonesia is the most beautiful land in the universe. The land where we were born. The nation where we grew up. So many colors that live together in peace. With a million timeless treasures. With an abundance of natural wealth. Indonesia is not just wonderful. Indonesia is a wonderland.
Proklamasi. Kami, bangsa Indonesia, dengan ini menyatakan kemerdekaan Indonesia. Hal-hal yang mengenai pemindahan kekuasaan dan lain-lain diselenggarakan dengan cara saksama.
The native people flock on a beautiful morning to carry out their respective activities. A melodious flute simultaneously accompanies their activities this morning.
Dan dalam tempo yang sesingkat-singkatnya, Jakarta, 17 Agustus 1945, atas nama bangsa Indonesia, Soekarno Hatta.
Carrying out their activities. Some are gardening, winnowing, some are sewing, and even chatting with each other.
I feel the atmosphere this morning is very bright and calm. I'm also grateful because we are already independent.
Hopefully we can get rid of invaders.
The young man hit the club again to gather all the native people. He took them all to leave the place and hide secretly. But before they could leave the site, the colonialists arrived and fired shots at them. Everyone was terrified, and many of them were shot. Colonialists immediately approached them, and torture after torture began to be carried out even though they were covered in blood. Screams were heard everywhere. They were kicked and beaten until their hair was grabbed and then dragged and reached many times.
What is this?
Colonialists are coming again, and they will boot our place.
wanted to come here. We are independent. What do you want?
Don't ask too many questions. We must leave. This is peace quickly. I will college the other. Run, 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 run!
Weeping and screaming have filled the ears of colonialists, but they will not be silent. Some of the other native people were only slightly injured. They were deliberately not killed to be taken prisoner by the colonialists. When the native people were dead, the colonialists took the native people to their headquarters to be held captive. In contrast, several other native people escaped and found a safe hiding place. News of the arrival of the colonialists began to spread to Bung Tomo's ears. He also gathered his troops and some native people he found in hiding with gunshot wounds.
Independent! Independent! Independent!
The atmosphere became tense after Bung Tomo delivered his speech to ignite the spirit of the warriors. They immediately rushed to find the whereabouts of the colonialists. One of them found the colonialists and shouted, The colonialists who saw this immediately came in groups and faced the Indonesian warriors. It was seen from them that their faces were arrogant, while the warriors had angry and spiteful expressions.
Whether we want to install it. We do not need permission for anyone.
Of course, it's necessary. You got to lower your flag, or will you get stupid flag.
Did you say stupid flag? You whopping red and white Saka is a stupid flag.
You have insulted the sovereignty of the nation. And you have assumed the red and white flag as a movement that is currently underway.
Who do you find insulting? The colonist army had won the war because the Dutch were a colonist member. So now, the Dutch government has the right to establish the Dutch East Indies government, the Republic of Indonesia. We do not admit that.
Of course, you invaders!
The battle was fierce between the warriors and colonialists. Blood was everywhere, and the sound of explosion and the gunshot began to sound painful, but it did not shake the spirit of the warriors to win over the colonialists. All the colonialists have died as well as the warriors, and only one warrior remains. He also tried to get up even though he fell several times and had to walk with a limp. Finally, he reached the Colonialist flag and then tore the blue color on the banner so that all that was left was red and white. The flag was flipped back in and saluted the flag.
Betapa hatiku takkan
This independence,
telah gugur.
this independence is an effort.
Betapa
Effort without giving up yours.
takkan sedih hamba ditinggal.
This freedom is sweet.
Siapakah
Those who are lie pour out until drown out.
dan setia dan
This freedom is start.
Siapakah kini
Time when we're hunting.
pembela bangsa
Independence is love. Because millions of pounds of love lost.
tunai sudah
For independence. Heart.
satu tubuh
This freedom is life.
tanah
Because in Indonesia,
jaya sakti
hundreds of years ago, lives Paulus.
taman bakti di hari
Hundreds of years ago, lives Paulus. Everything for Indonesia.
tambahkan sehari dan
Everything is for the smile of Indonesian children. Everything for a brighter future of Indonesia.
Today's Independence Day by Gilang Muhammad. Today I am still walking again on foot. I walked alone towards a city where my beloved awaits. Oh, I know, in times of wars, recessions like this, prices are soaring. That is what my brother said. He works in a private bank. You know, private banks do not belong to the Dutch as Indies. I heard the bank belongs to a jail. I have been walking for half an hour to save a few cents, but I'm sure this tiredness will disappear when I meet my lover. The street is a bit quiet. It is so tumbling. Is there something? I walk at fast and occasionally look at my watch. I'm shocked today, even though it's free day. It is still early. Why is the city so quiet like this? Not a single person showed the breaks of his nose. Strange, as the word recessions had this kind of effect. The sun has begun to show its power. I started to sweat. My back was itchy with sweat. The clothes I brought from Glodok are less comfortable than Koh Samin said. When I put it on, it turned out to be nothing more than a burlap sack. How much is this shirt, Koh? It's just chips. He held fourth finger in my face. 2.5? Really expensive? Here are the clothes I brought with a retailer in Batam. What are you doing to meet my curse? Oh, I have a chips one, but you don't bargain anymore. I have lost Just think, people like you will lose my martyrdom. Yeah, where's my dress? Kosami entered the warehouse. The sound of goods being moved out of the warehouse decorates the waiting for this dress. Kosami's children had been running around a giant who was in pain from being killed by a sack of rice by them. Brad thus started to fly from the Kosami shop. What kind of clothes will she give him? What are you wearing? It is blazer. There is no collar, and it's just a hole like this. It's called a t-shirt. You do not be slung. Young people usually wear in Glodok. He was right along the way. I was a lot of people wearing these clothes. The uncertain economic situation of my family caused me to be shocked by all these changes. How much do I cost? Since you've been waiting patiently, I've give you 2.5. If you refuse, I'll throw this stuff away. Finally, I broke the dress. Clothes that look like sick from the outside but are hot afterwards. You cannot even sneer, but it's okay for the sake of my beloved love. Let the sweets and itching fill my body will be strong. Oh, it is so hot, and my stomach is growling. A glass of hot coffee and a bowl of soda fill my stomach slowly. I could finally hear the silence of my melodies on the radio. These little mental things always catch my eye. His voice rustling, his voice whispering and sinking, giving its sensation. My father once bought me a radio, but he died early. Fat, several gigs were spreading towards Mangrai. The Japanese soldiers were still on standby as usual at the cross, but why only a little, huh? I continue my journey towards Mangrai. I think I can figure out what is in their down. The sun is getting hotter, and my clothes are getting sticky. The hot August air is burning the back of my neck. My mother says babies should be put on in the sun to strengthen their bones. But with a temperature like this, you can be sure the healthy baby will cook like a hard-boiled egg. Arriving at Gambir, I decided to take the train to Bogor. The hot weather made me give up. With this bit of money, I decided to take the train. There are only 2 cars. Walk until your heart swells and explodes, or ride a stealthy train. But there is a medicine called iced chinchoy. I choose the second.
The atmosphere on the train is very stuffy, noisy, and smell terrible. Several Japanese officers walk around with the black object, which I later learned was hand talkie. Maybe I will be more interested in the radio because there was no music inside the black object. Only the sound in fast Japanese. Merchants go back and forth looking for customers, talking sugar snack and vegetables. I did not find the grasshopper either. In front of me, a young man looked sternly out the window. His face is clean. It's assumed he is an educated person or works in a government office. His glasses were a black doll, a book he held in his hand, and a shabby black cap he wore on his slightly sparse hair. The look on his face said he was happy. Want to go to Bogor too? I start a conversation, so I did not get bored. Oh yes, he was, you know where when I asked him, do you want to go to Bogor to sir? I repeat, yes, I want to go home, often like this. Well, only this time the train is stuffy too, That's how it is. I also had to take this train. The conversation with the person was interrupted because someone he knew came, and he was engrossed in chatting with the man. My eyes went back to the window. Jakarta is so boring, I thought, since the name changed from Batavia to Jakarta. The city has become more and more crowded and more shabby. The Japanese occupation greatly influenced this situation. I no longer meet Miro and Sanyo are free to roam. I found only a short, stocky, 30 Japanese farm woman in wine gross. I remember how my neighbor was young. Sakina is her name, the villa flower in my villa. The most beautiful girl who can make who brother the sisters stab each other and two friends hate each other. That year, if I am not mistaken, was 1942. The month I do not remember. I only remember the month in the Islamic calendar. Sakina was only 19 years old. If I am no mistake, she was presumably taken by the Japanese army. The Japanese soldier said that Sakina wanted to be a Japanese employee. When I discovered that, I am deeply proud that I will become a woman, but I abandoned that prayer after learning the Japanese made Sakina a sex slave. My guide returned to the carriage, lots of so-called good guys hanging outside. At every station, they always shoot we incoherent babble. I do not know what is mean. Their face shoujo. I do not know what is wrong. I do not know. Bogor, this city became a place of rest and resort for the that each in this colonial government. Meaner, brave often refer to Bogor with the warm beauty zone. What I use the word Bogor, there is no difference, only the quality of the Tomo. The city is still a jungle with many gardens and low temperature. Getting out of the stuffy train is like having finished experiencing the torment in hell and being left to heaven, just as a Ustad said in my village. What will Muslims do when they die? I start asking. It depends. Will you die whether you sin or not? If you sin, what will happen then? He went to hell and his body was boiled first, then taken up and fed to heaven. What if he didn't sin? Baby time if you go to hell first. Accompany the clerics. I like at the memory of Ustad Jai. Now that the Ustad is dead, his body was pierced by hood dialer due to not moving when his house was tried to hide spread rebellions. As his family moves to Indramayu, Pa Ustad always said that Indonesia was not yet independent. He knew it from the newspapers. I need to walk to meet city, my feet are right. Walking in Bogor, I have never seen this lonely. Many of the people say were dressed like the young men I had met on the train earlier. I still need clarification. What is up with today? I finally arrived at my beloved family home. The house is empty, no one. I keep looking inside. Maybe there was movement or smoothing. No one. I am desperate. Nyengan saha, Kang. A mother with the local language asked me. I only understand a little answer. Siti mem I teu. Ning Siti pick up. Jeung papa. Where are you? Ke Jakarta merum him is clear that og mother. Aya naon where in Jakarta mem. Teu oge mother is bright. No, his mother only got the news that Siti went with her father. I need to find out where. I decide to pray. First I was right. I walked a little out of the alley into the main road and was run over by someone screaming, "Independent, independent! What freedom! I was hit like this. When will we free?" I grumbled. "You must be the Japanese or just to, huh? We are already independent. Sukarno just declared it. Idiot. I don't care. The front station at being unable to meet and the accumulate fighting you. You fool!" A raw bombshell light on my face following the next blow. I covered bleeding after a long time of not seeing blood. Maybe the first on this Independent Day. Day 4 November 2010.